Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationships. And today we are talking dating in the trans non-binary space with queer goddess Brendan Jordan.
Hello. Oh, yes. Oh, was that good?
Perfect.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
We're so
I'm
glad
really
you're
good.
here.
I have a La Croix with me, so I feel like my mouth is very nice and lubricated.
Ooh, good.
I'm ready to talk
you.
about anything.
If you're not, if you're listening and not watching this podcast, your outfit is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. It's literally a shawl
Yeah.
that I safety pinned together with this little gold, teacher safety pin that I got on. I look like a little emerald Great Gatsby.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and your breasts have popped out twice so far.
Okay, I know.
So it's beautiful and it's
You
fun.
just never know what's gonna happen. You just might get a poke in the eye. Hey, and y'all are sitting in the perfect spot. You can get my right
I'm
titty.
not gonna
you
lie.
can get the
My
left
favorite
titty.
one.
That's
Okay.
perfect.
No, same. The right one's bigger though.
Really?
I've noticed.
My right one's bigger too.
Is that normal?
I don't know. Well, it's bigger. It's normal that one is bigger, I
Okay.
think.
You shouldn't be afraid. It's not a medical
Okay,
problem.
I don't
oh my
know.
God, why is it a
Yeah.
lump?
No. No. Well, I guess if it's bigger because it's super lumpy, you should go to the doctor.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
it's just bigger in general, I think that's pretty normal, right?
That's good.
I don't have cottage cheese like vibes.
What is
Yeah,
that?
that's good.
I don't know. You said
Lumpy?
lumpy.
Cottage cheese.
I don't know.
Those are tiny, tiny lumps.
Oh, are they usually big?
Breast cancer?
Breast cancer? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of tiny cottage cheese chunks, if that's what you're...
Yeah, I think generally, hey, listen, and this is a great opportunity to say, everybody, go get a mammogram.
Yes.
Go to the doctor, go to your
Yeah.
gynecologist, your general physician, get those breasts checked out because people get breast cancer and a lot of us clearly don't know what the signs are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not cottage cheese, that's for sure.
God, it's such a... I've met you many places, but a memorable moment I met you was that... Wait, what are you... You're laughing. It makes me think I'm thinking of something else.
Okay, wait,
what are
no.
you going to say?
I was going to say the first time I met you was when we met Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Right? Is that what you were
is
going to
the first
say?
time we met. I weirdly forgot about that, which feels crazy.
Yeah.
I remember showing up to a JVN hair care product event, and you were
Was that the
leaving.
first time?
No, that was the
Oh.
second time. You're right. It was when we met Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But I ran in, and I was like, Brendan, I'm here at the JVN event. And you're like, it's over.
Oh, I do remember
And
that.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I had to go home, but I got a gift bag. But you're
But
right.
didn't they give you it the wrong time? It wasn't your
They
fault.
gave me the wrong time. But
Oh,
the first time I
shoot.
met you,
They're
we...
like, yeah, come at this time. They totally sabotaged you.
It was really bitchy.
and that's why
yeah.
JVN's been canceled.
Kendahl.
Have they?
I don't know.
You don't know about this?
Apparently they're rude.
Oh.
But
People
get
got
in
really
line.
mad that they were rude on the set of Queer Eye.
Oh.
It is funny to me
Allegedly.
though, because I'm like, you were watching JVN and nobody thought they were rude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are secretly rude.
Yeah.
Secretly, I think a lot of people are outwardly rude.
Okay, yeah, I'm just too shy to be rude. I think that's the issue. Is like I'm like a people pleaser, so
Sure.
I'm literally gonna kiss your booty up and
Yeah.
make sure that you're all taken
Up.
care of.
Wow.
Up.
Kiss it up.
Kiss it up, honey.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm not allowed to say on here.
You can say anything.
You can
Oh,
say
thank
whatever.
fucking God, girl. I was like getting worried. I was like, can I curse?
Yeah.
Can I say naughty words?
Yeah, imagine we start, we're
Sure.
like, and on today's episode, we're talking about waiting until
Waiting
marriage.
yes. Leviticus 2013.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It was when we met Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
We were next to each other, and then they were like, you two, come meet Snoop Dogg. I don't even remember what this event was, but all I remember is they...
Was it the Great American Song Contest?
That is what it was.
That
Great
sounds
American
made
Song
up.
Con-
It's like
Right.
when America
Right.
tried to do a version of Eurovision,
Vision.
but it didn't do
Oh.
well.
I
And
don't
like
think it
maybe
went well.
Snoop Dogg
It was a very
the
small
host.
stage. That's all I remember.
That is not like Eurovision, I'll tell you right now. As an
Yeah.
avid Eurovision watcher.
But so I have the most iconic photo with you. It's me, you,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
I'm glad we took a picture together with Snoop Dogg because everyone else got their own picture. Did you remember that?
Yes, and for some reason we had just met and we're like, we'll do it together.
Yeah.
I
We
was
were
so
like,
happy we did.
Sure. No, yeah. I showed my mom. She was like, who's that? I was like, that's Snoop Dogg. Who the f- did you think it was, Mom?
But I adore you.
No,
I'm like
same.
so excited for you to be
Same.
here.
No, likewise. I was literally telling you before this. I was like, I'm so nervous. I don't know
Why?
It's like a podcast.
Have you ever been on a podcast? Yes.
Yes. And I literally talked about the poping of But like I didn't mean it like that, and I had to take it out of the last one
How did
because
you...
I was nervous he was gonna see it.
Got it. Well, I'm glad you worked it into this one as well.
Yeah.
And when you say that, what were you said you didn't mean it like that.
What did you mean it?
Because he's fabulous.
Right.
The
Sure.
Pope is fabulous. Look
Yeah.
at the outfits. Look at the material.
Listen, I'll tell you what, when I found out that the way the Pope becomes the Pope is they're chosen by other men and then they have to sit on a chair that
On their
has a
lap.
hole cut in it.
Oh.
And their testicles have to hang down through the chair and other men have to touch them to confirm the Pope is quote unquote a man, which is bad and transphobic. But I'm like, that's a gay activity. No
lying.
That's
normal
very gay.
straight man says what I want to do is never ever have sex with a woman,
But put
and
my
sit
balls-
in a chair that my balls hang through, and then other men come and touch
Because
them.
they could have had a doctor do it. They didn't need to do a whole show.
They could
of
have,
it.
a doctor put the glove on and the whole fantasy. Where is this chair exactly?
In-
I would like to go.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Can I
open to
get an
the
address?
public.
Can I get an address to this, honey?
Yeah, I always there too. Anytime.
Oh,
I have to
fabulous.
assume it's in the Vatican.
Okay.
The Pope's house. And
At his house.
what I
yes.
will say is I heard this a really long time ago, so maybe that's out of date, but I'm like, they're not changing anything up. They have to still be doing that.
I mean, I hope.
They better not
That would
sue
be
me.
fierce.
Yeah,
I
but
would
so
love
also
that.
say I think you're correct in your statement.
I'm
Of
just saying,
wanting
I
to go
think-
to the chair.
No, I
he's-
mean that too.
Oh,
You are
that
correct
he's
in
a
wanting
little,
to go to the
little
chair.
fruity.
But I think that
Come
you can say
on.
whatever you want about the Pope, allegedly, and they better not try to sue us again.
I heard he sat with the trans woman at some
wow.
luncheon.
Brave.
On the
Sat with
chair.
her. No, like she was like at the dinner table or something.
Wow.
I don't know any contextual information. I could actually be lying to you right now.
You know she was there because she was like, this photo is
this
going to
is
be
crazy.
iconic.
They were like at Cheesecake Factory.
Well, because she knows she's going to be like in history books as like the first trans person to ever be with
Yeah.
the Pope. She said, I'm trying to get my photo in a
Real,
book.
no, real. I would have made sure I was like, propped out.
Yes.
Hey, made sure I'm in the picture, girl, please.
I think it's so hard because I'm like, who cares if the Pope likes trans people or not? Who's the Pope?
No, does
is
he
the
really
Pope?
have influence like that?
Well,
know.
with Catholics, yes. And I guess all that stuff matters when it relates back to then people
Yeah.
voting and things like that. Listen, I think the Pope should come out and be like, trans people slap. I think that is what the Pope
No,
should
same.
do. But at the same time, I think it's weird because I'm like, what? I'm going to give him a big applause because he ate lunch with a trans woman? A thing I've done, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of times?
I know. And
Where's
you've never had a photo taken of you.
Oh, yeah, I never have someone take a photo of me and a trans woman eating lunch.
Wow.
And I do it every day.
I do it all the time, yeah.
So where's my prize? What I feel like the Pope, like what is the difference between the Pope and Kim Kardashian? Because
Yeah.
don't they technically have like the same power of influence if you think about it?
I guess. I mean,
would
Kim Kardashian wasn't really selected. She just kind of came to be, and she's
Yeah.
Armenian, and the Pope is Italian.
Okay.
So those are
But
the
who
two big
selected
differences.
the Pope?
Other archbishops and like people in the
Men.
Catholic Church.
Men, stupid.
Men select the Pope, women selected Kim Kardashian.
Fierce. Fierce. I like that. She's our woman Pope.
Are you a Kardashian fan?
I mean,
Jordan laughing at woman Pope. I'm sorry. She's our woman
she's our
Pope.
woman.
Coming to theaters in
Woman Pope.
2026.
I like the Kardashians.
Jordan calls me a Kardashians apologist.
She is.
I am a Kardashians apologist.
Because I don't. If it was
Sorry,
just them,
Jordan.
Listen, I'm not a Kardashian hater, but
Yeah.
sometimes like they'll do something out of pocket and Kendahl will come in the room and she'll be like, listen, people are mad that Khloe has a show called Revenge Body. But what I have to say is, and I'm like, Kendahl, just let them have one thing wrong. Like,
yeah.
it's fine.
This is why. Because there's so many people just like them.
Oh my god,
And
like the
we're
BBL
so- right.
fashion. Yeah.
But even like men who are just like business people that are rich for no reason.
Who are like famous for nothing.
Yeah. And then I think with them, we're so hard on them. But I'm like,
Right.
well, they are very hot.
Yeah.
And then what are we all famous? That's why I'm famous.
Right. No,
For being
literally
hot.
Yeah,
same.
that's why Kendall's famous.
So I'm always just
feel-
like, we're so hard on them. When, or like Kim just she did something, she went to DC. I don't know.
Oh
what she
no,
did.
they got mad at her for
They
taking
didn't-
a flight to DC.
And they didn't like what she was wearing. And I was like, well, I liked what she was wearing.
yeah. Well,
But
I don't
also,
really
who
remember. I don't
cares?
know what the big. I don't know what she was wearing, but I feel
It was
like
skin tight. But what was she going to wear? A pantsuit?
no, hell no. Well, I mean, she could have, but I'm sure she looked way better in this
She
skin tight
did.
whateverness. But I feel like there are so many like worse businessmen who are rich and
Yeah.
kind of famous or something for
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's sometimes hard when someone gets success over something and then they roll with it.
Yeah.
As the Kardashians famously have.
Of course.
And then people are mad at them. And I am like, it reminds me of on Dance Moms when a girl would get a solo and then everyone would be so mad at her.
Yeah.
And then the moms would be like, you should. I'm like, what do you want her mom to do? Pull her from her solo?
Right.
Which is what I feel with the Kardashians. Like, what do you want them to quit?
Yeah,
then they wouldn't be rich.
Okay,
like
but the
let them be
Kardashians-
rich and like let their whole family like for generations. They literally set their family up.
But
Right.
they have a lot of issues and they've done a lot of problematic stuff.
Oh, I
Of
agree.
course, but who hasn't?
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm
All
not.
right. Touche.
not-
Now, I want to know if people are like watching this being like, okay, how do I know you? How do I recognize you?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little backstory on how you came to be on
course.
social media, what you're doing now?
Of course. So I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, to a Peruvian father and a very white mother. She doesn't have an accent. I just made that up. Just now. Well, yes. I went viral at the age of 15 for dancing behind a news camera and right behind or in front of.
It's crazy because I remember this.
That's crazy.
And then
Wait,
I
really?
but I didn't know
Fierce.
this. Like I met you and we
Yeah.
know each other.
Yeah.
And then I like saw that and was like, that looks like
Wait,
Brendan.
that looks like you.
Yeah.
That's like
and then I like asked Kyle and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
So that kind of like launched everything. Like when people say nothing happens overnight, that literally did happen overnight. So I don't really like believe that term anymore.
But I need to know what happened. So you danced behind a news reporter on a live news
Yeah.
broadcast.
Where were you
And then-
at?
But then what happened? You're like, it happened overnight. I'm like, who called you? What happened? You said it
So,
started all what?
I know.
What did
It's,
it
like,
start?
so
How did they
confusing.
find you?
Yeah, it's very interesting, actually. It is very interesting. It's like such a conspiracy. I was at a mall opening.
Okay.
At a mall opening in Las Vegas.
Classic.
And as a Vegas appreciator, malls are everything in Las Vegas. And it was one in the suburbs. And so we were so gagged.
Yeah.
My mom was like, we have to go see it. And I was like, Mom, absolutely. Let's get in the car. So we were roaming around the parking lot for like an hour. We couldn't find anything. And we were about to leave. Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
Could you
That
imagine?
would, I mean,
you
that would change the
imagine?
whole course of
No,
your life.
my
if
whole
What
you
would you
had-
be doing now?
Shitting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Peeing, sleeping. I don't know.
You don't do any of that now.
I literally don't do any of that. So we parked, thank God. And then we went inside and then I just saw a news camera and I was like such an attention whore.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not really, but kind of. You know, I just came out. So I was like finally like relinquishing in who I was and
You were like, I'm at the suburban
Yeah.
mall opening. It's time to
I was
be
literally
gay.
wearing leggings.
Yeah.
Like I was wearing leggings and a button-down t-shirt.
But you also knew you had the X Factor.
Yeah.
You knew.
Well, okay.
Because I'll tell you, a
so-
lot of people have danced behind a camera.
Yeah.
And not a lot of them have gone to do what you've done.
I think I just like entertaining people or like making people feel something.
And you said the
regardless.
news is
I'm like,
boring.
the news is boring. It's time to spice things up a bit, honey. So let's roll those cameras and tell me what my mark is, girl. Well, yes. So I literally just saw a camera and I was like, "Are you guys doing interviews?" I was like, "Are you guys
do
doing
you
interviews?"
work at the mall? You're like,
No, I'm a resident.
I'm like, "Yeah, we're on Hot Topic right now."
I'm a citizen of this city and I need to be spoken to.
We've been waiting for this since I was 9 years old, and as a 14-year-old, this is big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were like, no, but you can kind of stand in the background. So I was like, bitch, I will, bitch, okay. So I did, and the lights turned on, and it was all blur. I just started dancing and gagging, and then I was obsessed with art pop at the time. So
Sure.
I did Lady Gaga's like hand signature ARTPOP. ARTPOP. Do you know art pop?
Yeah.
Thank God. Oh my God, I was about to leave.
Yeah.
I was literally gonna go. Like some people hate art pop. But anyways, I did that. And then what else? I forgot. I went home because we wanted to see it. We just wanted to see it.
Was the newscaster like, you just made history, or was it like
No.
it was over and then later you were like,
it was literally
people are
over.
eating
Like
this up?
it was just to make like my mom laugh a bit.
Yeah,
I was
right.
literally just doing it to make my mom laugh, and my mom was like gagging a bit. She was behind the camera. She's like, "Oh my God, my little son." She didn't say that, but you know, she was thinking it. Right. I know.
that's
I'm
support.
obsessed with
Right.
her.
I
That's
know.
an ally.
Like her name's Tracy. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Like that is awesome. And she has like a bob. Like she looks like a Karen.
Yeah.
But like she'll sometimes put like pink strands in her hair to like differentiate herself from Karens.
Right.
I love
It's
that.
awesome.
She's
It's amazing.
I love that.
It's amazing. So, anyways, we had to go home after because I really just wanted to watch it. I just did it for my mom so that we could just laugh about it
Yeah.
later, and then the rest is whatever. But we got home and we never saw it. So I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to see this again. I'm actually really pissed off about that. So the next day rolls around. I just go to school. It was a Friday. And then as I'm coming home from school, I was like getting a text from one of my friends in my theater class that I went to like over the summer break.
Yeah.
And she was like, everyone is talking about you at my school. They're calling you like the downtown Summerlin Mall kid or something like that. And I'm like, first of all, can they say Miss in front of that?
Miss
Mrs.
Downtown Summerlin.
Yeah, it's Miss Downtown Summerlin to you, bitch, please. So I was like, okay, work. Like, that's serious. And then literally, as I walked inside the house, I saw Kim Kardashian revine it because this was in the Vine days. I know this is like prehistoric, right? So,
Well,
and then
I'm just amazed that Kim Kardashian had a Vine.
I
That doesn't
know.
really feel like a thing
like,
she would have done.
the PR twink that she hired to
Yeah,
like run
yeah.
her Vine probably thought I was like, oh my God, gag, like
Yeah.
revine. So, and then Michelle Visage from Drag Race posted it.
Wow.
And then the drag community latched onto it.
Mm.
And then Brazil. Do you know?
the country of Brazil.
We're gonna go to Brazil on vacation.
And-
There's gonna be statues of you.
And then Brazil named me as their queen gay. No, I'm lying. I'm literally
No,
lying.
I believe it,
No, but
though.
could you imagine? You know, come to Brazil. Everyone says come to Brazil. That's like a
Yeah.
joke in the drag community because
Okay.
every Brazilian gay person like wants celebrities to come to Brazil.
Sure.
Like it's always just come to Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah,
100%.
We'll do
very
it.
Have you been?
fierce. No.
Okay,
Go.
Kendall.
No,
We're
we
not
should
drag queens, but
go.
Kendall and I will go to Brazil.
No, literally, I think they would love you guys.
Wow.
I really do think.
Damn,
No, they would
obrigado.
eat y'all up. Yeah. Obrigado. Yeah, hey, okay. That's like the only word I know in Portuguese. I almost
Yeah.
said Brazilian.
Portuguese.
So, yeah, just like that. And then I think by Monday morning, Good Morning America was like DMing me on Twitter. So it was really crazy, girl.
Did you go on Good Morning America?
No, but they wanted like clearance to put my video on and talk about it. And then like Andy Cohen never asked me, but he just put it up. So
Okay. And
Shandy.
I'll be speaking to him about that.
just kidding.
And how is
Thank
Tracy
you.
processing all of this at the time?
Oh yeah, well my mom and my dad are so supportive. Honestly,
Incredible.
they always have
Love
been.
that.
Especially my dad is born and raised in Peru, and he's very like everyone's Catholic on that side. Like everyone down to my great grandparents are so supportive.
I
yeah,
really see you as like, do you know in Glee when they do the Christmas episode? Did you ever watch Glee?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm so
And I'm sorry,
sad
that
I
was a rude
didn't.
assumption that I made that you
No,
were a Gleek,
it's
and
fine. I
that
mean,
was
'cause
rude
look
of
at
me.
me.
They do a
Look
Christmas
at me.
episode where Leah Michelle, it's all in black and white, and Leah
Yeah.
Michelle, and they're singing, you know, what is it?
I don't
The
know.
song that people don't let you listen to anymore.
Is she the one who's like always staring or something?
She's the one who
Yeah.
can't read.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Christmas song are we not allowed to sing anymore?
Where he's like, I read. She's like, I can't
Oh, I
stay.
really
He's
can't
like, you
stay.
will stay.
Yeah.
Santa.
No, that's not Santa,
the
baby.
Santa baby.
That's a good one.
I
Anyway-
saw mommy kiss. No.
No.
Baby, it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside. I love that. Oh, I love that. That's my favorite Christmas song.
Yes, baby,
Baby,
it's cold. I
outside.
really see you doing. I don't. You can sing, yes. I assume you can
Okay,
sing.
I can sing show tunes,
But that's what I'm
Okay.
looking for right now.
Isn't that the
Which-
hardest thing to sing?
I don't think
You said
so.
I can sing opera, nothing else.
Yeah, no, I actually just did an audition for a musical like a week ago. Never heard back, so I don't think I can actually sing as great as I think.
You were waiting to get the feedback from them
No,
on
it
if
was
you
like-
could sing or not.
No, well, okay, because like I was in a conservatory, but I haven't like literally studied voice in 4 to 5 years.
Yes, I
So
understand that.
I just forgot. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
How
I've
do you
been
have it,
singing
though?
along to like Travis Scott and like
Yeah.
you know,
And you performed that at the
sometimes I
audition?
like Travis Scott. Yeah, imagine. No, I sang "We'll Meet Again" by Vera Lynn. It's like a World War II
Gorgeous.
song. It's really
Okay.
sad.
You were dressed as a soldier.
No, I did it in my car. I like just woke up.
Oh.
It was crazy. Yeah. Anyways,
Incredible.
what was I
But
saying?
I was saying you. I feel like I could see you. This is just random. I'm like, I really could see you having like a Christmas album of you like dressed in Santa,
Like sexy
outfit,
Santa.
sexy Santa, doing like
I'll be manly
Santa
Santa,
baby.
too. Yeah.
You could play all the characters, all the
Yeah,
elves.
I'll
be Rudolph.
Everyone. Yeah,
I'll be a
Rudolph.
furry Rudolph.
I just would really
Wow.
pay to see your. I would buy your Christmas album on vinyl.
I agree.
Do you want to be my manager?
Sure, sure.
Sorry, Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. Yeah. We have the same manager.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I know we keep saying Kyle. It sounds like we like have a husband together.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle, we love Kyle. I can't wait to see you later today.
Kyle.
Yeah, I know. We don't.
Wow.
We don't like men like that.
That's
Yeah.
wild though. So then you're just real overnight success.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of
literally.
people that have been famous in that way, but you've kept it going.
Such staying power.
Thank you. I've tried my best. I've definitely changed a lot from when I was young. You know, I think I was literally 14, 15. So I'm now 24. It's almost been 10 years. Or
Wow.
I think, if,
Yeah.
yeah, 10
No, good
years.
job.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. I
14
got
to
that right.
24 is 10. Yeah, don't worry.
Right. Hey. Okay. Thank God. Yeah. I didn't go to college, girl. Hey. None of that. So yeah, 10 years and I feel like I've changed a lot as a person. So a part of that was a little scary for me because, you know, I have some people that follow me from that time, but then I have people that follow me today that, you know, because that meme still circulates online. And a lot of in the hetero community now, it's really weird. Yeah. Like they're like, when the beat of the song makes you do this, and they were
and it's you?
They refer to my like stank face.
I can't wait to show you this video after this.
Straight people are gay, right?
Oh, of course. You can't tell me you don't want to try a little penis from time to time if you're a guy.
Even with the trends,
come on,
like,
taste.
Have you ever been to a small town in Alabama? I wouldn't recommend, but have you been?
Alabama.
You go to a small southern town, and it's like the trends are, and if you're listening from one of these places, I'm sorry, you're beautiful and gorgeous, because everyone looks amazing, but the trends are from 6 years ago. Like you
They're
walk
really
into
behind,
a store,
I feel like.
and it's fascinating because you walk into a store and you're like, this is a shirt that would have been in, like you walk in and there'll be mustaches on shirts, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels that with straight people, where it'll be like 6 years later, they'll be like, this is funny.
I know, like I like that.
That is a funny move.
You know what's weird? And not to quote Ethel Cain, because I don't think she like specifically said it in this manner.
Okay.
But she was just saying, like, because of where she lived in, like, you know, Florida, but like down south where it's not really modernized. She said that those small communities were just like a little behind, like a decade behind. So she would just say that growing up, a lot of stuff that was like in the early 90s is what they were using. I saw an interview of her saying it. So I get that about Alabama.
Yes,
that makes sense.
They're just catching on a RuPaul's Drag Race, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
They're
gonna
on like
watch
season 3 or something.
And they're going to love it.
I just feel like a straight person would be like, have you heard of Tyra Banks?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Did you know
have.
she had a show? Like, have you guys ever seen Wendy Williams before?
Yeah.
Like, oh, baby, get
I'm
ready.
like, yeah, you
better
have a
put
lot,
your seatbelt on.
a lot to catch up on. Well, I love that. Well, we're so happy to have you here. We're talking about kind of dating in the trans, non-binary space.
I hate it. It's so fun. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I literally love it.
It's hard. It's very, and you know, gender is complicated and confusing. I would say Kendahl and I both identify like along the gender nonconforming spectrum.
Okay.
I think it's all very hard.
We're stuck dating each other, so we're not dating in the space.
Well, so we're not dating in the space. So that's why we need you to tell us kind of what's going on right now, because we're kind of stuck to each other. We have no clue what's going on. We have some fans that are writing in.
Okay.
They want help.
Actually, are you lying?
No, I'm actually. Why would I lie about that?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Why would I lie
We
about
don't
that?
lie. We're not liars.
So, are you guys lesbians?
Is this a real question?
Well, you said on the gender nonconforming space. Like,
Yes.
do you guys just call yourself partners? Like,
we're
just like you just don't even give a shit.
don't really
I think
care.
so.
Like,
I think
we're gonna go to Ralph's and pick up dinner tonight.
Exactly. Yeah,
Ding,
we're,
ding, ding.
we're,
Yeah, right.
we're Ralphians is how I identify.
I just think I had a mental breakdown about it like a year ago.
Isn't
you
it
know?
so real?
And then I went to a therapist, and she was truly like a gender therapist, and she was like,
Oh.
you need to calm yourself. Like, this is just for you.
What
You don't
was
need
she
to.
calm yourself? How?
Like, because I was like, what? I don't know. It was scary sometimes to think about. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And how you feel versus, and I was saying to Jordan, I was like, I'm very lucky that I feel like my parents didn't really put gender on me very much. Like, I
Yeah,
wasn't,
same.
Right.
You know, so then as I grew
You could kind
grew
of like
up,
be tomboyish, be girly, whatever you wanted to be. Yeah.
And they didn't really care. They didn't call me like their little princess or anything like that. It
Oh,
wasn't
fierce.
really.
Yeah, same. And I think, you know, my parents, I think
love
my,
that.
my mom has a lot of more masculine traits and my dad has a lot of more feminine traits.
Oh, my dad was
And-
very feminine too.
Yeah, and my parents are very, like, love each other very much and are very cool, but, like, I grew up seeing, I think my mom do more masculine things, and also all my parents' friends are gay men for the most part, so I grew up around gay men almost exclusively.
Y'all got awesome families.
We
from the
really
sound,
lucked
This is a good
out.
trio of parents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
know.
really
we
lucked
should get our
out.
parents in
Yeah.
this room. Right
It's
now.
honestly a parents episode.
We have
But
some
so
stuff to
That'd be fierce.
For a while, I was like overthinking it, but I wasn't in a bad place. It's not like I was upset about anything.
You
It
were
wasn't
very
like
worried about what to tell other people.
Well, I just felt like I was, and then I went in, and then I was like, everything's okay. So really, I think we're both just kind of like, we don't care. But in that also, we don't feel like we need to take, I don't think we're not taking up any space in like the trans community.
Right,
That's how I feel
right.
about it. I'm kind of like, I think I identify as like queer across the board, as gender nonconforming, but also I'm very aware of how I present. I know people see me and perceive me as a woman.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me or offend me.
Of course.
But it also, in kind of a both like social and political way, I have a lot of issues with gender.
Of course.
So I, just kind of identify as queer across the board. We'll use the term lesbians because I think like historically there's a lot of connection between the non-binary and the lesbian community.
There's
really a lot of
is.
non-binary lesbians.
Yes,
but
I've
then
noticed that.
also there's so much infighting about people being like, well, you can't feel this way, you can't do that, and you can't do whatever. So everyone's
It's
annoying.
So much.
So I'm
like,
like,
turn
shut
off the
up.
noise.
I'm like,
Turn
what
off
are you,
the
a
noise.
cop? Like, relax.
Yeah, I
so
know. The gender police girl.
Yes, I'm like,
Right.
cool it. So
Cuff
I
me,
think
hey.
Kendahl and I are both kind of more like, I'm good with any pronouns.
Yeah.
I am fine with however someone perceives me. That's not offensive to me. But how I feel myself, I always kind of say I feel like gender neutral. I
Right.
don't feel any particular specific way. I don't feel a particularly strong attachment to gender. That's just me specifically at this time in my life. That could always change. I think things like that can be so
I feel
fluid.
like you just like lead with your soul, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all like believe in that, but I
Yes,
feel like
sure.
ultimately, like this is just the skin.
Yes.
you
I
know?
love that.
It's like, and I think our world places so much emphasis on defining that and making sure that you like need to get your expression down the line, which is so weird because I got a comment like the other week or something saying like, why is this man wearing like heels? And if you saw me, it's like, what about this gives you man, first of all? Second of all, it was like, okay, well, you're so stupid because men, like literally drag queens signed the Declaration of Independence. Like they were in wigs, girl, and they had little heels on.
Weren't heels started as a farming
a manly
tool?
thing, a farming
I heard
tool.
they used to-
Absolutely no way that's correct.
Then I
heard
will
they put
literally
them
be a
on to
farmer.
plow.
I will
I heard-
literally be a farmer.
I
if
heard
that's the
heels.
case.
Heels were invented so they could plow.
Well, then I'm gonna plow the field.
I was gonna say a different kind of plowing, maybe. That is very funny. Yeah, I think, but people
I wear
wanna
heels
know.
when I plow too.
Yeah,
I do.
That makes
That's a t-shirt. But even skirts used to be manly. It's all
Yeah.
but that's like my therapist when I was having this little mental breakdown. It was a little self-indulgent and just kind of freak,
Yeah.
Kendahl just had like 2 private thoughts and then was like, I should make a Facebook post addressing everyone
A
that follows
Facebook post,
me.
that's awesome.
And
no,
I was like,
always have to like announce things on Facebook.
yes, and
you
I was
never
actually
just
like,
post it.
you don't need to say
announce.
anything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
okay.
I was like,
Which
you
I
would
was
just
grateful for.
figure out things privately within
Yeah.
yourself
I'm
and
so
then
with
move
that.
forward.
But one thing she
I'm
told
so
me I
with
thought was
that.
interesting, she was like, weirdly, I have a lot of Mormon clients because she was saying they're not, they're not trans, but they come to me very stressed because they grew up Mormon. That
And
now
soaking
they're
in
just
their
like,
beds. Have you heard of that?
Yeah,
term?
we've
Soaking,
heard of it.
honey. Yes, I've heard of it. I've
So-
done it.
Yeah, we
even if
love
they're a
soaking.
woman and they feel like a woman, they are like question their gender.
Yeah.
So it's all very fascinating.
I'm a spokesperson for the Mormon community, by the way. I really do know a lot.
You'd be a
about
good
it.
Mormon wife.
Yeah, I feel like no, because they always wear these like ugly denim skirts. I think I don't want to be locked into like a denim skirt for the rest of my life. You know, like I want to walk around in panties or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mormon is just very that, very much like the men do this, the girls do this, and they actually. I literally just read an article the other day. The Mormon Church actually just released more. What's it called? Blockages, for lack of better words, against the trans community. I forgot what it said, so if you're listening, you're just gonna have to look it up yourself.
Hey, you have a search engine.
Sorry, yeah. I forgot it. I have ADHD.
That's okay. So does
I didn't take my
Kendahl.
finance today
Why?
because I timed it. Okay, so I was gonna take it around noon, right? But by 2 p.m., I would have had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do
know.
that at Spotify Studio.
Well, I had my Vivans.
Yeah.
And right here at a chicken sandwich from Cane's.
Where did you get Cane's?
There's one in Burbank.
Now it's
Yeah.
open.
There's one in North Hollywood and
It's
there's
been
one in
open for
Burbank.
2 years, so glad we
Wait,
finally told
what
you.
the hell?
The one in North Hollywood just opened.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? I was told that I had to drive to Orange County,
No.
No.
I look at my
Timbuktu
phone.
County.
There's cane sauce. Do you see that? I get cane sauce all over my phone.
yeah.
All over my body.
That's so awesome.
And
Yeah, I would
then
just,
I
like,
had
you know,
to-
smother my body in like cane sauce, a nice coat of cane
good.
sauce.
You got it.
But I took my Vyvanse and I did have a bathroom issue.
Yeah.
So,
When people ask what I'm working on, I'm like, the plumbing in my sink, my digestive issues. And, yeah, my sink is clogged in the kitchen. Anyways, should we get to these important matters of discussion?
Questions.
I just adore you.
Okay.
I do too.
I really
Yeah,
do.
this is fun. We're having
I
fun.
like this is so chill, honestly.
such a good.
Yeah. Am I a treat?
You really
Yeah.
are.
Oh,
treat.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Your hair color is my dream hair
Do
color.
you like it?
But this is
It's
rude, I know.
natural.
It is natural. It
Yeah.
looks natural. But
Yeah.
it is like I know I can't ever have it. But
think
it's
my
my dream
nipples
hair
are
color.
I
It's beautiful and it looks very good on you.
does it really?
It really does.
Hey, okay. Literally, it's weird because my beard, if I were to like grow it out ever, it would be the same color. So I would be like a little leprechaun. I've thought about doing it just for a literal, like, photo moment, a
Yeah.
bearded lady moment.
Yeah.
but I think it's too much. It itches. And,
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and
a
I
beard
like
is
want to like die whenever I have facial hair on my face.
Yeah.
I've thought about that if I was born with that. It's my nightmare because I get so sensory overload.
No, same.
The thought of, like,
it's an ADHD thing, sensory overload. Like I
Yeah.
can't. You know what I mean? When I'm laying with a guy in bed, I love chest hair, but it has to be the right kind of chest hair.
Smooth.
It has to be soft.
I don't really know.
But it has to
I
be
can't
right.
really answer that, but if
Yeah.
it feels certain ways, I
Not
don't like it.
wiry.
Yeah, or if he shaves himself and like we're just like slipping on each other, like while we're
You don't like that either?
No, I don't. I'm like,
I like slippery.
be a man. We're our real men.
Yeah. And that's why we brought you here to talk
Yes.
about that.
That's what I'm here to educate everyone.
This is a great first question. This person, it seems like it's coming from a cisgender person,
Awesome.
but they say, how can I show I'm a safe person to date on like online profiles and stuff to trans people and non-binary people?
Oh, I think dye your armpit hair green and then shave your head. And then we will know you're just fine.
That is so funny.
I don't know. I feel like it's so confusing because obviously I date cis men.
Sure. Because you have bad taste.
Yeah, no, literally, my taste is so flawed. So I feel like no man to me looks safe to date
Sure.
ever. I feel like it usually depends. Like, okay, how are we talking about that? Are we talking in a more of like something that they write in their description on a dating profile,
I
or
think
the
anything that
pictures?
you would see that
Yeah.
would make you feel green flag, or maybe
Okay.
anything you'd see that would immediately make you go red flag, barring the
Yeah.
obvious, right? Like if they're wearing a
Right.
Make America Great Again hat, you're like
Yeah,
not going to swipe
definitely
on
not.
them.
Yeah,
But are
love
there any
January
things-
6th. Love it. It was
Yes.
fabulous. You know, not that.
Yes.
Right.
Are there any things that you would see and be like, oh, this person seems like they're
Well-
probably a good bet, and I would be open to
Yeah.
starting an interaction with them?
Yeah. I think usually those people will put that in their caption, believe it or not. Like, to the people who are actually very open, have worked through their shame, and are not like embarrassed to be seen out with like trans folk,
Yeah.
non-binary folk, things of that nature. Usually you can tell, or in the pictures, a lot of them go hiking for some reason.
Sure.
So if they hike, that's usually like a really good, like
Yeah.
fierce. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Do you
got
like
it.
to hike?
No,
I can't picture you
no,
hiking.
I mean, okay, I like it to smell the trees.
Okay.
Sure.
I just love like huffing the air when I'm up there. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's different here. You
Yeah.
know, it's like not city air.
You gotta go up
It's
to Northern
tree
California.
air. Yeah,
Have
I
you
really
been?
do. No,
That's where I grew up. And when you
You
step out of the
step
car,
yeah,
it is a Yankee candle
Yeah.
of pine.
right before you ruin it with a cigarette or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm like, oh, this was nice. Yeah,
Absolutely.
this was nice. So yeah,
hiking photo.
hiking photo.
But you wouldn't be
or
opposed to just putting it in the
if they
Caption.
take caption, but if they take pictures with their friends, look at their friends.
Yeah.
You will be able to tell who they are by the person they hang out
Yes.
with.
Absolutely.
So you will know.
So you don't feel like it's in bad taste to like put like I'm open to dating people.
open to dating
of
all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
That was good. That was good.
Go- all
Okay, let's say
kinds.
someone is interested in men specifically, but they're also open to trans men, or someone who is interested in women specifically, but they're also open
Yeah.
to trans women. Obviously, trans men are men and trans
Yeah.
women are women, but if someone wants to make sure that they're extra clear about the fact that like I'm not transphobic, I want to date anyone who identifies as a man, anyone who
Right.
identifies as a woman, whatever. Because I feel like it's more easy if you're non-binary to be like, I'll date all types of people.
Right,
or
like-
if you're like
or poly.
or pan or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I think
Jesus.
it makes it easier.
Poly or pan.
Yeah.
People 100 years ago would have like no idea what we're talking about.
Polly Pocket. Polly your pan.
Polly
It's
your
like
pan.
a game you
Yeah,
play
yeah.
as an 1800s child.
Absolutely.
Let's play Polly a pan.
But do you know what I mean? I feel like that's
Yeah.
easier because you can just be like, I'll date all types of people. But what if you are like only
Ooh.
interested in women, but you want to show those women that like you're a safe person for trans
Right.
women as well?
So I can only really speak on my experience, of course.
Sure.
Right. So I feel like in my past, I mean, I don't have any dating apps anymore.
Yeah.
If anything, I heard Field is like the place to go to.
Field?
For, yeah,
The new Farmers
FEELD.
Only?
I have no clue what this app is. It's like apparently, it's a big like polyamor.
Okay.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Polyamorous?
I was gonna say, well, you didn't finish
Polymer.
The word.
I said no polymers.
Polymer. Polyamorous. Like that's where a lot of like those people will go. Those kinds of people will go.
Sure.
I am joking. But then there's a lot of like, people who are open to dating trans folk as well.
Cool.
So in my experience, I have had like Hinge, bans from Tinder, and then Grindr's really only really for one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a hole and cock and all of that. So
Absolutely.
I feel like on Hinge in my past, the cis men that will either say pansexual, like as their orientation. So that's kind of usually like how I know that they're, maybe pansexual or like feminine attracted. That will be something, or masculine attracted.
Ooh, okay, that's a great tip.
That's a really, seriously, because I've actually, I interview the men I hook up with. Fun fact.
That's smart.
I really do. Oh, no. What after we had sex?
Oh,
yeah.
That's dumb.
That's actually unhelpful.
My mom,
Great
I'm
tip.
so don't do that. Don't do that. Definitely be safe.
And what's your name?
Yeah, sometimes I've had experiences like that. I've, whatever. Anyways.
Here's the name.
Because I'm curious. I'm like, so how would you define your attraction? Because, yes, I'm very effeminate and like I would like to say I'm passable, even though that whole concept is very like yawn, all that. Unless it's for a safety thing, of course. I totally respect that. But it's very weird because I've been with men who are really comfortable with the parts I was born with.
Yeah.
And I at first was a little bit confused because I was like, okay, well, do these men identify as bisexual, pansexual sort of thing?
Yeah.
I had one guy give me this word, which it just like makes me like, oh my God, there's more words than I even thought about. But I liked the meaning of the word. And he said he was gynosexual, which is a very interesting word. It is feminine attracted.
Okay.
So feminine qualities, feminine whatever. You know what I mean? Like the essence of.
Yeah.
And then the opposite would be androsexual, apparently.
Interesting.
Which no one really uses those terms.
Sure. But it seems like they
Except for
should.
this one man, God bless his little heart. So a lot of guys have actually told me they didn't really know. So I would kind of fill in the blank for them. I'd be like, do you find yourself mainly attracted to femininity? Like if I had a beard right now and if I had like, masculine features, would you find me attractive? And they said no.
Okay.
Even if I was like a feminine gay boy, it's because a feminine gay boy still has like a boyish look to them versus me. I think I've obviously crossed over that threshold.
Sure.
And that's what they're attracted to.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. And I will always just like believe that sexuality is so complicated, so nuanced, something that I don't think we really understand quite yet. And the thing with sexuality is I understand why there's categories for it, but I feel like that is just simply to make things easier to understand, not because we have a full grasp on it.
Right.
100%.
Well, that is 100%. And that's even when I was talking about gender earlier, when I went to my therapist, she was like, all of these terms are to make it easier. So if it was fine before and now you're stressed out, you actually don't even need to worry about it.
Label it. Yeah,
And you shouldn't use them to police other people or make yourself feel bad. They should be to help you connect with the community. And I think those two terms are really helpful.
Yeah.
Because I think like, it's so important to remember that you can identify as a straight man and date trans women. Yeah. Because trans women are women. And that's like, if you identify as straight and you see trans women as women because they are, then that's great.
And it makes sense like why you would be attracted to a trans woman.
Because you're attracted to women and like they're hot like women.
They're
because
not
they are
men.
women.
They don't have beards. Like they literally have breasts. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Well,
it makes sense.
I also love this idea of you sleeping with a man and then giving them like an after survey. Being like, where did you hear about us from?
No, literally. I'm like, so
how was your experience?
How was it? Can we rate the experience?
Here's the 10% coupon for your next time.
Well, honestly, and honest to God truth, I'm not being like a chaser apologist, but I will say that a lot of times I think we need to realize that it's also a journey for them as well. Sure. I mean, we obviously know like toxic masculinity, the patriarchy is not friendly to anyone, even men. Yes. Like it doesn't help anyone. Yeah. And I'm like, women power. Yeah, let women take over. Let's see what a Barbie movie like totally turned me on that. But anyways, right.
Have you heard of the Barbie movie?
Yeah, have you guys heard of that? Yeah. So it's a really great film. Very done well. So I noticed that a lot of these men, it's done very well. A lot of these men, it's they're very closed off. They close themselves off. They're friends. I have had really meaningful connection with these men, not even non-sexually. But of course, our meetups would only be for a sexual manner after midnight, and I would just be the little secret that wrapped up. So it sucks for me, but it also sucks for him because it's like they are living a double life, and there's just lots of shame with that. And it is a journey that they have to go through as well. So I'm not saying it's my responsibility. I'm like, no, you got to do that for yourself. But I feel like a lot of times it helps to have someone to talk to about this, because sex and all things regarding that is so natural and normal. It's like eating, sleeping, all that. So who you're attracted to is just the same. And if I can ever offer any of that to someone, like I would like to. Of course, there are like toxic ass chasers, which to define the term chasers, it's someone who literally just goes after like trans folk, whether it be trans men, trans women, mainly because it stems from a fetishistic point of view. Either way, I feel like a lot of cis men in my experience have been awakened to trans women specifically due to pornography. So there's that. You know, I understand why there's a lot of like chasers who fetishize us, because I think porn already, you don't really view them as human. It's like this sexual object that you get off to and then regret after you nut.
I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense too, because I always kind of say like, you don't know you didn't know something until you know it. And I think so many people are so closed off and don't realize how broad sexuality and gender can be. And especially now, you know, we all have so much access to the internet, but that is so new. And I think that, you know, in the past, you've had to meet and interact with somebody to learn about different communities. And that hasn't always been accessible to everyone.
And it was illegal. Like in the 60s. It literally, it was called parading. Like in New York, if men were either drag queens or, you know, trans women who just started their journey or literally anything of that dressing nature, you would literally become arrested. And I believe sometimes they would put you in the paper, like in the newspaper, like this person was arrested for cross-dressing or transvestism, I think they called it.
But yeah, I think it's like
man for real. Man for real.
This person says, I'm just lost and feel uncomfortable exploring my sexuality while early on in my transition. So do you have tips for anybody who is figuring out their gender identity and how to still feel comfortable exploring their sexuality while doing that?
Ooh, well, I think it's I understand why those go hand in hand, but it is important to remember that those are two separate things.
Absolutely.
I think just following your heart and whoever you're attracted to. Of course, there's always a matter of the other party being attracted to you. So maybe in a situation like that would probably be best to stick in like the non-binary pansexual community where people are just a bit more open and accepting and more evolved, I guess you could say. But also just, I think you learn a lot about yourself with the people you do have sex with too. I didn't even realize what I liked in bed. What I thought I would like in bed wasn't necessarily the truth of the matter until I went to bed with a man.
For the held your feet to the fire.
Yeah, I was like, oh dear God, this is horrible. Why?
Like, you bought these strawberries.
This is horrible. Oh my God. So it's like there's so much you learn every single day and within every experience you have. I mean, I was like being a little dirty cross-dresser at the age of 3 years old. Like Caitlyn Jenner in the middle of the night, sneaking into Chris's clothes as I put my makeup on and snuck around the house.
You really made this sound like a children's story.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Once again, it's giving kind of a Santa Claus.
It's giving a Santa Claus. You're really Christmas coded.
Thank you. I love Christmas. No, I mean, you know, I think it's just very much what you're naturally drawn to.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes, like, as you were saying, it's very, like, there's just this upheaval of uncertainty. Did I use upheaval right?
Yes.
I'm trying to like
good.
expand my
Are
vocabulary.
you a reader?
No.
You seem like a reader.
No, but every time I'm curious about a word, I will literally just Google it.
And then use it. So that's like when I learned the word sanctimonious 6 years ago.
Oh,
fuck.
doesn't that mean joined together?
Nope.
No. I know the answer that I had to that was very murky and
No, that was great.
blurred, but
No.
I think the era that individual is in is very murky and blurred. But there's also a positive to that because there's so much to be discovered about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's easy to just take it. I mean, it's best to take it easy on yourself.
Yes.
It's best to take it easy on yourself during that.
Yeah.
Because I think in my journey, there have been articles of clothing that make me feel confident in my femininity. And then there's articles of clothing that are still very feminine, obviously, but that make me feel like a man in a dress sort of thing. For example, spaghetti straps, things that flaunt my shoulders off or show off different things about myself that I'm very dysphoric about or, that I feel are masculine on me. That's why I am very careful with the clothes I choose, and it's really hard for me to, I guess, find something that I'm fully comfortable with. That's why I do love wearing like a lot of Amish frocks.
Sure.
I don't know why, but something just feels so slutty about being in like a
But it
like a
also
milkmaid
fits you
outfit.
I
so
love that.
well. Like I always,
Yeah, you
even
always look incredible.
When I was like,
Thank
do you
you.
read? My instincts like, of course you read. You read by candlelight every night. And
Oh
you're
well,
big.
yes, I do write.
There you go.
Yeah,
with a
like-
pen, with a feather.
Quill, yeah.
You know what? I do write in cursive. If that
Me
counts for
too.
anything. Okay, yes.
People never do that. I really don't. I'm really bad at
I-
writing in print, and I only write in cursive.
I sometimes can't even read when I'm writing, like when I go back to it. But I feel like cursive is just faster.
yeah,
That's
I agree.
impressive though, because you
Yeah.
said you're 24.
Yes.
They didn't. Because I'm 25. I just turned 25, and in my schooling, they stopped teaching cursive around like 3rd grade. So my generation
I
can't
think
really speak cursive.
same.
So you on your own learned a little bit.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
same for me. I think it was about like 4th or 5th grade where they said that you can kind of just start writing in print.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Print. You can we print on this test? Yeah.
But I think you'll tell on yourself a little too with like who you're attracted to. I think we can like overthink it, but it's like if you're
Yeah.
attracted,
Yeah.
it's
You're
kind of like when you're Googling,
attracted.
am I gay at
Yeah.
14? It's like if you're Googling it, you are. If you're being like, am I attracted to this person?
Am I
Probably.
trans? Like, why am I thinking about that for 5+ years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a reason, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think definitely listen to yourself because you really know the answer. And when you give it to yourself or experiment or like go out of your comfort zone, it's easier to figure out if you like it or don't. And
Yes.
try it.
Absolutely.
Next question.
Absolutely.
Incredible question. Answers.
Yeah, that was a great. Oh,
incredible answers.
thank
that
you.
I've
Incredible,
That's a
yeah.
good-
Oh,
I'm
you were
literally
perfect.
a spokesperson for LGBTQ, so I feel so honored to have that.
Perfect. Yeah. How do you own using your correct pronouns and gender while you are still clocked, quote unquote,
Clockable?
as the gender you were born assigned as? Is what this person wants to know.
Oh, how do you own it?
So, for
Ooh.
example, let's say you were assigned male at birth.
Yeah, and
you now
someone
identify
uses
as
he.
non-binary. You identify, you as something else, and they are using how they perceive you,
but it's not
how you
you
identify.
are.
Yes.
spelling this out.
Well, I want to make sure
Sorry,
I'm not.
no,
it's-
you are.
I
You're
want to be
doing great.
clear without
Jordan,
being,
you're doing great.
without being dismissive of anyone. But it seems
Yeah.
like what this person is asking is
Yeah.
they identify as something different than what
Right.
they were assigned at birth,
And
but
what they're
they
being
are still
perceived as.
perceived
Yeah.
as, which like the term like clocking
Yeah.
is, being perceived as something else, and they were perceived as what they were assigned at birth. That's not how they identify anymore. How would you handle a situation like that? And
Absolutely.
What advice do you have?
I think the first two things that come to my mind are personal like strength and courage and safety, because I
Yeah.
think both are really important to weigh in. I feel sometimes even I don't really have the willpower to correct people if sometimes they get it wrong. I kind of know who I am, sort of thing. My close friends and family know who I am, and they validate me in that way. But if it comes to a point where you're like, no, I will not accept anything less than this, then I would say, literally just say, oh, she, you could use she, you could use this, you could use they, you could use whatever. But I feel like if it's a safety concern, like if you're like at a gas station at 3 a.m, maybe not. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, yeah, bye, dude. Like, I'm a bitch. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a girl. Then they're like, because sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I'm in public, like I want to be visible and valid. I think that that's so important. But sometimes I want to not be visible in public.
Sure.
I don't even want to, like, I don't care if what they say because I just don't want to draw attention to myself in that way. Like, you are literally scanning my eggs and milk. It doesn't really matter. But I guess it's really just depending on the scenario and depending on where you are. You know, even if you're with family, like that could also be something different that, you know, depending on whether or not you have supportive family, like if you do have people to kind of back you up and vet for you and sort of thing, you can make that known, like, hey, Uncle Johnny's still calling me he. Mom, can you tell your own dumbass brother to start correcting himself before I get pissed, you know, sort of thing. Then that could work. But you know,
I do have to say, when you said scanning my eggs and milk, I thought that was a fun phrase you were using for like checking me out.
I did.
Oh, wait a minute.
I said,
what does that
I
mean?
love
like
that.
You're
Scanning my
these
eggs and milk.
and the sausage girl. Well, yes.
I said my eggs and my milk.
He's scanning the milkers
Yes.
and the eggs. Oh my god.
I said, wow.
I literally have milk and eggs.
You just coined something, but I'm like, that could work for
Scanning my
anybody,
eggs and
right?
milk.
Because
Why you standing there scanning my eggs and milk, girl?
eggs could be testicles.
Come over
it could
here
be
and check
ovaries,
me out already.
It could be anybody could
could.
use it.
Yeah.
It's a completely
Scanning my
gender
eggs and
neutral
milk. Yeah.
term, and I'm obsessed with it.
No, I actually
Wow.
love that.
I love
Scanning my eggs and milk.
I thought that
You're
was like
scanning my
a
eggs and milk.
catchphrase you were doing.
I just made that up.
It is now. You need to patent that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
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 Now, this person wants to know, what are pre-sex conversations like, and how do you go into sex in a way that is gender affirming but still feels like normal and cool?
For me, it's just lights off, ass up. You know what I mean? I'm kidding.
Hey,
Scan
that's
my eggs
not-
and milk.
yeah, that's not a wrong
I'm
answer.
totally kidding.
Listen, we're
Mother,
married, but
I
we
have
do lights off,
never
ass
do
up
that.
sometimes. There's nothing
Okay?
wrong with
For
that.
God. For God.
Yeah.
For God.
For God, as he said in the Bible,
Yes.
lights off, ass up.
You
Yep.
sodomite. What was that again? No, that's a great question. I think, okay. A thing for me is really becoming comfortable with understanding what I like.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like when a man likes to pretend like I don't have a beautiful You know what I mean? Like, yes, I do have one. And I would expect you to like it too. Because I do.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't like it when it's like, just pretend it's not there. Because that to me, I can feel that shame. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, the room reeks of shame in here. And
Yeah.
suddenly, I'm not horny anymore. Hey, okay. You know the whole thing. So I feel like definitely working on your own shame in terms of what you are willing to have and not have, and fully saying that so that it is heard and understood. Specifically, I think on dating apps is pretty easier to do that. Or, I mean, in person, it could be harder, but I've definitely had conversations where I'm like, hey, like, just to let you know, like, this is the deal, okay? This is what I'm having and this is what I'm not.
Yeah.
So, and if it's not compatible, then it's just not compatible. I feel like when you're dating and all these things are just hooking up, there is a compatibility that does need to be there for both parties to enjoy themselves. For a long time in my first ever relationship, I would give myself because I wanted to please the other man that was in it. Not the other man, the man that was in it. The other man.
I was cheating, and the man
I
I
was cheating.
with
Sounds like an Agatha Christie novel. The other man.
The other man. No, this, you know, so there was a lot of times, because I'm a natural people pleaser, I'm a Libra. So it's often where I'm very much just wanting to make sure they're having a good time. But the thing with sex and sexuality is you are owed your personal pleasure as well. As long as everything's consensual and safe, you know, and talked upon, agreed upon, I think that's fine, you know. So what was the question?
That's the answer to it. That's perfect. And I honestly, I think
what was I talking about?
I don't think that's even specific to the trans or non-binary community.
No, that's for everyone.
I think that's for everyone, and I think the trans and non-binary community is such a leading force in being clear and consenting and upfront about what you like and what you don't like. And I think that's so cool and strong and powerful. And I think that everyone should incorporate more of that into their lives.
It's just an education thing too. And I'm not trying to call people uneducated, but I'm just saying when you are a person that is in and involved in the queer community, you usually have more access to knowledge of, you know, more things pertaining to sexuality and the specifics of that. And I feel like you're better able to express those in literal words that are easy to
100%.
understand versus like a cisgender heteronormative thing. I feel like those roles are already just pre-assigned. Where queer is like, it can be anything. My art pop could mean anything sort of thing. And so it's very much like, this is that, and this is that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some guys like to be pegged by their wives, but you know, and that exists too. And we love the guys who like to be pegged with their, we accept them with open arms and open legs.
Yes.
That is a Tiffany New York Pollard quote, I think.
I love that.
I love that. Okay, we got time for one more.
Hell yeah, bring it up. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
God, you're just so fun. I love you. You're
Thank
just adore you. You're so
Thank you.
and such good advice.
I appreciate it. I mean, I will say I do not know everything.
But that's the best.
And I'm
advice.
also
does.
very flawed. Like, I am very flawed.
Nobody
No.
knows everything and everyone is flawed, but I think like especially what our listeners are looking for is first and foremost someone funny, which you have. And
Thank
second
you.
of all,
Okay.
they're looking for someone with shared experience. And your experience isn't everyone's experience, but your specific experience makes you qualified to give good advice.
And to piggyback and circle back with
Yes.
that, on that note, I hate when people say piggyback in like Zoom
Well, there you
meetings.
go. You're the only ones who said it so
Yeah.
far.
Shut
You're
the fuck up.
perpetuating it.
I know, but
Look
it's
in
just
the
'cause
mirror.
it's funny.
Look in the mirror.
Self-reflection. It's time to look at who you are. No, I totally agree with what were we saying?
I
It's
was
your
saying
experience.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
your experience is specific, but because
Yes.
you've had those specific experiences, you can give good advice.
Are you guys ever sourcing lens at all?
What
What's
does
that?
that mean?
The hell is that? Sourcing lens.
What are you talking about? Well, we're doing nothing.
Like when you look in the camera, do you source
Yeah,
the
every
lens?
time you speak, we've turned and gone.
we look into camera. You can look into
don't
camera. Is
know.
that your question?
Well, sometimes I like to.
That's okay. We do
No,
that
we
all the
like
time.
it. That's you do
Okay.
a lot of winking.
You're
You want to
performing
make
for the
sure
camera.
we're catching it.
You can perform
no,
to the
I
camera.
was just asking if you're sourcing lens.
Yes.
Well, now we know that term.
Yeah.
I also, but on that, I sometimes will go like, I'll be like, what am I
lens?
supposed to say?
Can you keep that? That is hilarious. I want to post that.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll make it into a clip.
Sometimes I'll go, am I allowed to say this about being a lesbian? Or
Yeah.
is this the right thought? Like, I'll have an opinion about me being a lesbian. I'll be
Yeah.
like, well, I feel this way, but maybe I'm not supposed to say that.
Can
And
I
have
say
to
this
start being
slur?
like, well, I'm a lesbian, so I
Right.
clearly think that is true. So for me, it doesn't have to be true for every lesbian, but I don't have to
Right.
figure out what is correct to say about being a lesbian.
And you know what's weird about that?
What?
I have actually learned the most about myself from other people's personal experiences.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like
That's
you,
right.
Like you hear something and then that tells you something about yourself by the way
Yeah.
you take it in.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, I kind of relate to this or I don't. And the fun fact is when you don't relate to it, at least you know.
Yeah,
That's not me.
it's so true.
So then you can find out more. Reddit has been a good source, which I'm like, I like love and hate Reddit.
Yeah.
I love and hate Reddit. There's a lot of like weird stuff on it, especially like, trans forums. I think there's a lot of people that it's like, okay, fierce. I know what you're saying, but I don't know like who you are. Like you could literally be anyone.
Yeah. Let me get into this last question. This person says, I'm non-binary and my girlfriend is trans. My parents are transphobic. Do you have any tips on navigating that? And I know you said your parents are wonderful and seem super cool and accepting.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you know people.
Of course.
Do you have any initial tips?
Ooh, I mean, okay. I think I come from an experience that is like half Peruvian, and oftentimes in Spanish cultures or Latino cultures, Hispanic cultures, the thing that is so common is family first over anything. I think that any culture in general usually kind of has like family first. I feel like America's the only thing where like kids are sort of independent in that way. So I think that with that having in mind, it's really easy to try to prioritize your family over your own needs. You just have to do what is best. And that's so much easier said than done. Like, I'm like, yes, girl, you go live your life. Meanwhile, I'm like telling you to like literally break your family apart. You know what I mean? So I can't really like give a solid answer for that, unfortunately.
I mean, it is so hard. I think people very commonly are like, just cut your parents off. And it's like, I'm always like written on paper, I'm like 100% agree, but it is
it's
so hard. And you have like,
you love them.
You love
your parents.
And you also may have perspective on the way they grew up, which makes it harder, where you're like, well, they think
it requires so much nuance. It's such a question that requires nuance because
absolutely,
but
I think you're right in the sense of your parents are also just people, and they're also just
humanizing
people.
Your parents.
Yeah, as corny as it sounds, people will say this, but like your parents are just people doing life for the first time, just like you're doing life for the first time.
Right.
So I think making sure you don't prioritize their opinion over your own opinion, because they're also just like, your parents are just two random ass people that also live on this earth, and they can be wrong. Their opinions can be wrong.
Because I hear people.
You know what I mean?
I just thought of sourcing the lens.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to change this episode. This is not about trans dating. This is about sourcing the lens. This is about how to get the most screen time when you do a podcast.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so
think about it. Were you just thinking about yourself doing it, or were you just thinking?
You were thinking about you being funny.
No. I literally just thought of the term in itself.
Sourcing lens. Is that an
it's what
industry
Jimmy
term?
Fallon does, right? Where he'll like.
I don't know. I literally had this. Oh, you know what I heard about it? This vocal teacher of mine I had, and she was like 70 years old, and she would use that a lot.
Source the lens.
Yeah, source lens for this take.
I'm obsessed
All
with
right,
her.
drop in the
Like,
chat
can
if that's an industry question.
I'm so sorry.
An industry phrase.
I'm obsessed.
We're talking about important matters.
No,
Let's stop talking.
I also think though straight people deal with this too, because I'll even hear people will be like, they're planning a wedding and they're like, well, I don't really want to do this, but my mom needs me to do this, or I don't want to do this, but my mom
doesn't like the way I dress, or what? Yeah.
Or I don't really want a kid, but my mom needs me.
Like
to
on my
have a
mom's
kid.
side, some of the aunts like do not talk to each other at all,
Yes.
and like it even trickled down to like my mom's, like great aunts, because it trickled down to my mom's generation, where they had nothing to do with the drama that happened in of her mother's generation. Right. So my mom was not invited to one of the weddings. Weird.
Rude.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
But it's like, those are just like random people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you can respect your parents, and also you can create separation with family who you think is bad or wrong, or who is not supportive of you, without fully ripping care from them in a certain way. I think, like, for me, I have a lot of family that I don't deal with at all, but we also have a lot of family that like we've still had to take care of. And I think especially with a lot of cultures, it's a huge thing to take care of your parents, your grandparents. That's very important. I'm like, you can still take care of your grandparents and parents while thinking that they have like bad dated ideas, and while drawing boundaries. Do not comment on XYZ.
Right. I think that's actually so important. Like, don't even talk about it. I love you from afar, but not necessarily afar, but just like, this is what we do and this is what we don't do.
Yeah, because I think
that's
like y'all were
great
saying,
advice.
well, because it's like care is a human right, like food,
respect.
And
I think we do owe respect to each other.
I think you should definitely try, and I think sometimes
some people say like you don't owe anything to each other. I'm like one of those people. I'm like, okay, at the very least, like you at least owe other people respect. Just common decency, because I feel like if the term "you don't owe anyone anything" is kind of like, oh well, you don't even view people as human. I know that's like very extreme.
Or they have to get it. They
have to earn your respect,
you
which I can understand, earning your trust.
Yes.
But I feel commonly we just treat people with kindness all across the board, unless they're like doing something crazy, like chasing at you with a knife. Or something.
Sure.
But I also like, oh my god, I respect you so much. But please do not chase me with that knife. Please.
But even with political conversations, you can go like, if you're like, why haven't gone to Thanksgiving for years because my uncle always brings up whatever. It's like you can just be like, I really want to come. If you bring up these things, I'm gonna leave.
Right, and that's so fierce, because I feel like that is definitely like setting the power. Mm-hmm. You're taking your power back. Because I feel like when you do have parents of that nature, I have had people in my life whose parents have been literally the worst. And the thing that I notice with the people I know is like, it's like they feel so powerless and like they just can't break through their parents. Yeah. But I feel like finding that mediation, that halfway point of, I will do this, but I will not accept this, is so smart.
You will interact with people who think they are being respectful to you, but they're not. Right. And I think sometimes with people who have a different experience than you have to teach them what is respectful in your community.
Right.
And get them a treat.
No, you're literally...
No, but do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like, you have to,
I do.
I think people don't realize that there are certain things that are disrespectful to women, to gay men, to trans people, to non-binary people, to people of different races, to anything. Like, I think sometimes people don't necessarily know. That shouldn't give them a pass. But I think if there are people that are important to you and matter to you and you want to continue to have a relationship with them, one thing that could help you is saying, hey, this is what respecting a lesbian looks like. This is what respecting a non-binary person looks like.
And really sounds like.
And like really draw that out for them. It's like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then if they continue to disrespect it, that's disrespectful. But I think, like you were saying, so many people outside of the queer community just do not have so many basic gender and sexuality things that they know.
Right.
They're very, very limited in their knowledge.
Yeah.
And, that too comes a lot from how you grew up. And there's just, as you started saying at the beginning, it's all very complicated. So I think drawing those boundaries can be helpful.
And I think sometimes we go so far to one side where it's like, I think people are being better now about being like, we don't need to have, if you have a question about a lesbian that you could look up, you don't need to make a lesbian explain it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
But on the other side of it, I think now sometimes like a
Unless
person who really wants to know or
explain it to them.
Or if like someone I care about, like if my mom said something that she clearly didn't mean in a certain way or she didn't know was offensive, I don't need to be like, it's not my job to explain to you.
This. Yeah.
Like, I can explain. It's not a big deal.
Easy.
I don't need to.
Well,
But it's
difference
also
between a family member or someone you care about and like a stranger on the street. I don't want a stranger on the street to ask me one singular question.
Right.
But
no,
like
do
my
not
parents
approach me.
can ask me whatever.
Scanning the milk and eggs.
Scanning the
Please.
milk and eggs.
Please.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for doing this episode. You've been absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.
We're so happy to have you. We record in the Spotify offices as always. And you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube or on our Patreon where you can listen to ad-free episodes plus so much more.
And Brendan, is there anything you want to plug?
Oh, shit. Myself.
Yes.
Hi.
Perfect. We'll drop your handle in the comments so people can follow.
Oh, I meant like with the butt plug. But you can
I
follow
knew,
me.
And I knew that.
You did.
Second. And you saw in my
happy.
eyes.
I did. I saw it in
I'm
you.
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. My @ is @Brendan W. Jordan. The W stands for Washington. That is my middle name.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like,
obsessed
but the
with
W
that.
could also mean woman.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Brendan, woman, Jordan. I like that. I like that.
All right. Well, make sure to follow Brendan because she's absolutely incredible and so
Thank
funny
you.
and such a joy. And we'll see you here next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.